Okay, this is interesting. Hello. Sorry for the delay. I'm trying something new this evening, trying to go live in two places, Instagram as well as YouTube. And so, hello to those who have joined on Instagram. Let's see. Turn that off. Unmute. And okay, everything is muted. There shouldn't be an echo. How's the audio on that side on Instagram? I'm working on a Wholecloth. It's a Wholecloth quilt panel. It's a yard, and I'm filling it in with some what I call the bear claw design. I was live yesterday a little bit, both on YouTube and Instagram, but separately. And tonight I thought, or this afternoon, depending upon where you are, I thought I would try both at the same time. So, hello, how are you, Teresa? Designs by Valerie. Hello. Hello, Judith. Thank you for being here, Patty. Welcome. So, I'm stitching. Hopefully, you can see I've started stitching the background design bear claw, and I'm doing it in multiple colors. I've sectioned it off with some echoed straight lines, and now I'm filling it in. It has a double batting, full on the top, and a low loft cotton on the bottom. And so I wanted a nice texture on the quilt, and I'm going to use my quilting pads instead of my gloves. I normally use gloves, but when I do that on camera, the gloves are just too bright, and I think it's just too contrasty. So I'm using these instead. When I'm not on camera, I'm using my gloves. And notice I'm not in a rush. I'm taking my time. I'm stitching, for those who don't know this machine. It's a Bernina Q20 sit down long arm. And I'm using a stippling foot. There's stippling foot. It's an adjustable height foot. I love the stippling foot because it's open and I can see exactly as I approach the spot where I want to stop. It's easy for me to see that. So I like having that for most of my free motion quilting, especially patterns, not this one, but patterns where you have a lot of backtracking. It's nice to have that visibility. When I'm using a double bat, especially with wool on the top, wool is very puffy. I'm always patting it down to make sure that it's evenly distributed as I quilt. Sometimes it's almost like patting it into a submission, making sure that I don't get pleats. So I will readjust the pads, making sure that I'm not getting pleats. If I had gloves, I would be using my hands to do that, gloved hands. And I love the double layer of batting for texture, to create this beautiful texture on the top of the quilt. Hopefully you can see a little bit of that. It's really puffy right in here. Just enough, not too much, just enough to give it a three-dimensional quality as opposed to a very flat quality. Hello, how are you, Carrie? Who else is there? Maria, thank you for being here. Sapphire, thank you for dropping by. Let me know if you have any questions. And let me check on YouTube. Okay, I don't see anything there. All right. Okay, Antoine, hello. Knitting the Blues. Thank you for joining. I'm quilting. This is free motion quilting in real time. It's not as fast as you see my videos. Usually I will double or triple time my videos. Watching in slow motion isn't always enjoyable, but I thought, how about go live so you can see part of the process? Okay, hopefully you can see that. Let me adjust the camera just a little. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. I'm using 40 weight thread. I really want the thread texture to show by weight and also by using the wool bat and double batting specifically. Both of those really help give nice dimension to the quilting. Checking. Hey, Patty, could you please repeat? Okay, I can't read the whole thing. The batting layers. Oh, sure. I'm using a low-loft cotton on the bottom and a wool batting on the top. I find it's important to anchor the quilting, and to do that, I create sections. And part of that, another term I would use would be quilt stabilization. You know, if this was a piece quilt, I might stitch in the ditch to do that. For this particular project, since it's a whole cloth, part of my stabilization was quilting these channels throughout and then stitching each section separately. So here's one section here, and now I'm in another section. So it's easier to manage the double batting when I do that. Who else is here? Hi, Kelly. So glad you're here. Let me know if you have any questions. Quilted Sheets, you're here. Thank you for joining. I'm stitching one of my favorite filler designs. It's called Bear Claw. It's a wonderful filler design, easy to stitch, easy for beginners. You can change the scale of it to give it a different look. You can make it big, you can make it small. It's great for being around applique. And I'm using it to create a texture and a background for a whole cloth. I divided it into multiple sections by using a, what do you call it? Almost like sun rays. So sun rays coming out and dividing the space. And those sun rays were stitched with an acrylic ruler to give me the channels that you see here. I'm calling these sun rays. And when you go at this pace, it really allows you to assess and evaluate how the quilting is going. You know, I will stop periodically and inspect and check to see, will I have pleats? How's the puffiness? If I think the puffiness because of the wool bat is more than I can manage, I'll take it to the iron and I will steam it and help it to relax a little bit. Oh, you're welcome, Patty. You're welcome. But you can see the texture. Hopefully, let me hold it up a little bit more here. So you can see that nice texture building up here in the background. And another thing that I like, you know how I say often is practice, practice, practice. And this is one way when I take something, divide the space, but quilt it with the exact same pattern using different thread colors, allows me to practice and hone my skill on stitching a design. By stitching it over and over again, I'm learning how to stitch a design um, in various places. Of course, I'm also practicing how not to get boxed in a corner. I'm learning and improving my precision in quilting. And then sometimes if there's something I did that I didn't like, which happens often, I get out my seam ripper and I take it out before I go too far. So right now it's starting to bunch up over here. And so either I need to adjust my pad or adjust the quilt and make sure that it's nice and flat. So I'm going to do that. And I noticed that part of the puffiness is happening is because I'm quilting too much in the center. I need to distribute the thread as I go into this area. So you don't want to concentrate too much on one side because then you can start pushing the fabric and the batting to another area. So you want to do it in a way that is evenly distributed. Hello, Sam. Hello. Who else joined us? Andy, Kelly. Who else? Sharon. Hello. Glad that you're here. Welcome. I'm quilting a whole cloth with a background fill in multiple thread colors. So I've repositioned myself so that I can even out the stitching. It was getting too puffy on one end, and I need to manage that puffiness so I don't get a pleat. And if I need to on one end, which I'm going to do now, is pull slightly down so that I don't get a pleat when I come back. So I'll let go and go back. Pull it slightly. Okay, so that's looking a little bit better. Any questions? Let's see. Okay, there's a question from Patty. Do you use any spray adhesive to hold the batting layers before you begin to quilt the sun ray channels? Okay, very good question. I did spray base this quilt lightly spray based it, um, and that has been holding the quilt together. But and that was mainly so I could do the channels. So that, yeah, that was a really good question. That's what I did. I spray based it very lightly. In fact, stitching the channels was more of a challenge than I thought it was going to be. Um, and I did that in sections, and I did 1/4 inch first, and then I did the echoes. And I inspected the whole cloth before I even did the echoes on either side of the 1/4 inch, so that there were no pleats in the back, no pleats in the front. Everything was laying straight. And then I pressed the whole thing before I began to stitch this filler design. And that's actually one of my tips, is that as I'm quilting, every time I finish a section, I inspect the entire quilt. And then I will take it to my ironing board and I will press to help get the quilt relaxed and ready for the next section of quilting. Because when we're quilting, especially on a sit down machine, either a long arm sit down like this one or a home machine, we're constantly shifting and moving the fabric. And so I think it's very important to inspect along the way, and that's taking it out of the machine and pressing it if needed. And often I will press from the back only when I need to relax some fabric that looks like it's getting a little bit too puffy, or there's some give that can create pleats while I press from the front. Okay, I think I went too far on that one. This is when I really need my gloves. It's going to be a little bright because I need my gloves for this fine area of stitching. Okay. All right. I think that's okay. It's trying to create a pleat right here. And it's a sensitive area because I don't want to go into the channel. Let me move over. I don't want to stitch into the channel here. And so I'm trying to get exactly along this outer stitching. And so it's trying to pleat itself. And so that's why I need my fingers to hold it in place. Okay, any questions? Hello, Quilter Bell, Joe, Linda. Thank you for joining. Louise, welcome, welcome. By the way, I am Geraldine, the Living Water Quilter. I'm a Bernina ambassador, and I'm stitching with a sit-down Q20 long arm. I also teach quilting at national quilt shows like the American Quilting Society and QuiltCon. My specialty is free motion quilting and ruler quilting. If you're new to my Instagram account, that's what it's all about. I love to help ladies, beginners, intermediates, advanced quilters go to their next level in quilting and ruler quilting. I taught 6 classes at QuiltCon this year, all ruler quilting on this machine, a sit-down long arm by Bernina. We had 20s in the classroom, we had 16s, and we learned some fantastic designs with ruler quilting. Hi, Susan. Glad that you're here. There's 2 Susans here. Welcome to both of you. I also teach at retreats for guilds and at quilt shops. So if you're looking for a quilting teacher for your guild, your group, your quilt shop, don't hesitate to reach out. I love to come help ladies and guys learn how to ruler quilt and free motion quilt their own projects. Even if you send your large quilts to long armors, you can work on your smaller projects with your home machine or your sit down and have fun. When we learn how to ruler quilt and free motion quilt, it really opens up a door to creativity. Hello, Lynn. Welcome. Hi, Deb, Andy. Thank you for being here. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me check YouTube. Okay, I don't see anyone there. All right. And quilting is my second career. My first career is as a photojournalist. So when you look at my videos and photos on Instagram, there's a background there. I'm thankful for the skill to be able to do that in this age where we want videos, right? Everyone likes to watch a video tutorial of some kind or take a video class. So I'm able to create video tutorials and on-demand classes. So if you are a ruler quilter and you want to learn more, you can go to the We All Sew blog. It's Bernina's blog. I did a ruler quilting challenge. It's free and it's still on the We Also blog. I show you how to quilt several designs with 4 different rulers. All video tutorials. You can get the supply list. You can watch the tutorials, step-by-step guide, video instruction on how to stitch multiple designs. There's something for everyone there. There's beginner designs, there's some advanced designs, and intermediate designs. You decide which designs you want to learn and stitch and have fun. And in the meantime, you're building your skills and preparing yourself for quilting your own projects. Okay, so yesterday I did one section. Let's see, I'm nearing the end of this section. It's right here. Almost there. And the gloves aren't too bright. Glad they're able to work because this area is going to be a little tricky. You can see it's very puffy here. Here's the two layers. Here's the thin low loft. Here's the wool batting. Okay. Hello, Poppy. Hello, Carol. Glad that you're here. Welcome. Let me know if you have any questions. So I also free motion quilt and ruler quilt on a domestic machine. That's where my history started. All with, and the quilting was all on a domestic machine. So anyway, back to being a journalist. So I was a journalist for a long time. Well, long to me, over 20 years, and I have been to many countries documenting stories with photos. And I really enjoyed that part of my life. It was a fabulous time to get to travel to different places and learn about different cultures and meet some wonderful people. Hello, Peggy. Welcome, welcome. So glad that you're here. All right, I'm only going to be live for this one section. Once I'm done with this section, I will sign off. So if you have any questions about this design or about the machine or free motion quilting, let me know. I've been sharing short videos with one of the things that I'm passionate about is using things that we already know to help us increase our skills with free motion quilting. And that, for me, is the alphabet. So if you've been to my Instagram profile, check out some of the videos. If you haven't seen them, go check them out. I show you several designs inspired by letters in the alphabet. That's one of the things that we do struggle with as beginning free motion quilters, and even after we have what I call a go-to library of designs, meaning designs that we know, we've learned them, we've practiced, we're pretty good at that one. We want to increase our library design so we have options when we get to quilt different projects, from a tote bag to a table runner to a lap quilt to t-shirt quilts, whatever it is that we're making, we want options. And so if we're limited on the designs that we can stitch, we don't have options in terms of what we can stitch for a particular type of quilt. You know, it could be an art quilt even, right? All right, I didn't go all the way up. I need to close that off. All right, almost done. Hello, Quilter Bell. You're welcome. You're very welcome. But if you want to go deeper with the alphabet series, I encourage you to check out my website and watch the video I have under the education and specifically for the alphabet design free motion course. I help you with a set of over 50 designs, and I'm adding some new designs next month. You get access to me via submitting assignments. I can answer questions. You can submit photos. It's unlimited access, either on your phone, tablet, the web. All right, I'm done. So that's all part of the course, and it's yours, unlimited access, 24 hours. Go check it out. It's Living Water Quilter. It's courses livingwaterquilter.com, or what's even easier is just to go to machinequilting.live. Machinequilting.live. You can see all my courses and the free series I just finished, which is Machine Quilting Masterclass series. It was a 5-part series. You can go check that out on Facebook page or the YouTube channel. Oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome. So I'm finished. I've done this section. And let me see if I can move the camera back a little bit so that you can see. There's another section. It's exactly the same pattern, but with different thread colors, which is hard to see, I know, on camera. This color is challenging to do in video, but there you go. And see if I can open it up a little bit. You can see how they are radiating out. The central design is this silhouette. The silhouette's my sister, and I have all these lines coming out with a background fill. And I'm going to put an applique on top of it. So at least that's my desire. We'll see how that goes. Wonderful, what's Quilter Bell? Yes. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for being here with me. I'm going to sign off for tonight. Maybe I'll be back with another section as I go along this journey of quilting this whole cloth. I'll see you next time.